Hello everyone, this is Karthikeyan from NIT Trichy, second year CZ. With me, I'm having.
Neelakandan from NIT Agartala ECE, interested in finance and startup.
So today we are just telling our point of view, our suggestions towards the Union Budget 2025-2026. Let's dive on. Before moving on to the Union Budget, there is a primary agenda behind this. The primary agenda behind Viksit Bharat. What this basically means is to make India a developed country by 2047. The primary four sectors which are focused by this particular budget is agriculture, MSME, investments, exports, and taxations. With this, we just move on to the first sector, agriculture. Before moving on, let's just ask about the point of view from Nilgandan, like what does he think about this particular union budget? What does it favor?
People actually expected something great from this union budget, but I don't think so. The union budget satisfied them. It was a disappointment, but a not great disappointment, as the RBI is has cut the rate yesterday by 25 basis point and is trying to do something else by open market operations. So it wasn't a surprise. It was kind of neutral thing.
All right. We first move on to the agri sector. In agri sector, first thing which the government did, the first thing which I want to talk about is Atmanirpata and pulses. Basically, what this means is making India a self-sufficient country in the production of pulses. Because if you see, the India currently imports around 47.38 lakh tons of pulses, which is 90%, which is 90% more than the previous year, despite 70% increase in the pulses domestically. So, what is the primary reason behind this is people of India are becoming more health conscious. That's the primary reason why the demand for pulses are increasing domestically, and the rate at which the demand is increasing is not met by the rate at which the production rate is increasing domestically. What do you think, Neelagandan, about this?
It's actually quite surprising because 47.3 lakh tons is quite huge amount, and people in India say agriculture is backbone of Indian economy. I don't think so. It is true anymore.
What I personally think is India has a much greater youth population, right? So instead of giving primary focus to the tertiary sector, like the IT industry, all those things, we can create a mindset among the Indian youths that agriculture is also a profitable profession and the most life-saving profession. So the
Yeah,
primary thing which the government should focus on is to increase the awareness about the importance of pulses, and so that the people who are already in the field of agriculture can increase their production of pulses by setting up their land at appropriate conditions, so that the need for the need can be met domestically. And the three major pulses which are in huge demand are tur dal, urd dal, and masoor dal. And by this, we can move on to the next important thing, which we personally feel as important, is the Makana board in Bihar. What do you say, Neelakandan, about this?
it's actually quite controversial because whenever the the finance minister took the word Bihar, the people in opposition party in the parliament used to shout like anything. This has been set in Bihar just because of the upcoming elections. Don't you think so?
Uh, that could be one of the reason. The second reason could be around 90% of the Makana produced in India is from Bihar only. And the third point would be in India, if you see, Bihar is one of the state which has to be given a significant amount of importance to make it develop, right? Because Bihar is relatively less developed with respect to the other states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, like that. So it do make sense why government is giving a slight edge over Bihar with respect to other states, because the primary agenda of a government is to develop all the states equally, right? India is the second largest country in the production of fishes. Apart from that, if you see the export value of fishes, it's 60,000 crores. It's not a small amount. Indian government is also keen towards making the fishery industry into a even more organized sector. Just the key takeaway from this is if someone who's interested in starting business and has no idea about where to start, they can tap this market because Indian fisheries industry is so much unorganized, and if someone is going to make it organized, like how the company Licious has done for the sector of meat, yeah, like chicken and mutton, people can focus on the fish industry also. Like by vertical integration, they can make a huge amount of profit in this particular sector. So it's according to me, it's a kind of good idea. What do you say, Neelakandan?
It's actually a good idea to focus on a unorganized industry, but one more thing that government should take care of is the lives of fishing people because whenever they get into the sea, they're risking their lives as the conditions in the could be very bad, strong and bad weather condition. Also due to the border issues with other countries like Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
True though. Here, what we can do is basically we can incorporate innovation and technology, not just for agriculture, but also for fish industry, where drones can be used to mark the locations in the seas where there is a huge amount of heat radiation, basically meaning where there is a huge number of fisheries, so that the people who are going into the sea can maximize their. So basically, the people who are going inside the sea, they can increase their productivity and efficiency. And we can also improve the GPS tracker among the people who are going into the sea so that they can get to know the limit of borders, right? This is what I could suggest. What do you say?
Yeah, it could be good if government focuses on doing such things.
Hmm. The next thing which we want to talk about is the Atmanirbharta in urea production. Because if you see, India is one of the greatest importer of urea among the other countries. Because the import value of urea is around $2.7 billion. What is your take on this, Nilakandan?
Yeah, it's actually quite good as India is moving towards modern agriculture. But we should also make sure it doesn't become harm to the people who are consuming the crops.
The India Post. This is not exactly coming under the category of agriculture, but it's for rural economy. Like the basic agenda is India Post is planning to get transformed into a large public logistic organization so that the number of people who can access India Post will get expanded. What do you think?
Yeah, it's actually good that they're expanding the area that they are serving, but it could be good if they integrate technology and make the employees work properly and make the delivery time fast. Or as they,
What is your experience from India Post, Nilakandan? Actually, I think you have a
it's actually
good experience, I think.
it's actually a quite bad experience, not a good one. Now let's get into MSME. Karthikeyan, I think the new backbone of Indian economy is MSME
Yeah,
because MSME employs 7.5 crore people and accounts for 36% of our manufacturing and 45% of our imports. It's quite shocking. What do you think?
yeah, of course it is because India was primarily focusing on manufacturing a decade before, right? Just now they have transitioned into the service sector. Uh, yeah, a decade ago it was primarily focusing on manufacturing, and right now they are primarily focusing on service sector only. And by this particular union budget, it tells that government is they are not leaving manufacturing sector completely, but they are also giving some focus towards it. That's what I can tell about.
Yeah, the first and most important thing happened for MSME is that they have increased the investment and turnover limit. For example, for micro and small enterprises, they have increased the investment of up to 2.5 crores and turnover of up to 10 crores, which is actually double the previous limit. And for small business, The investment is up to 25 crores and turnover is up to 100 crores. For medium, investment is up to 125 crores and turnover is up to 500 crores. They have actually increased the limits of MSMEs quite large so that the MSMEs can take advantage of the government schemes that apply only for MSMEs. What do you think?
Yeah, as you see.
Okay, the next thing it's quite shocking for me was that the government is planning to issue 10 lakh credit cards for micro enterprises, which has a limit of 5 lakh, so that it will help the micro enterprises in covering their monthly expenses without any long process of loans. Don't you think it's actually a great step by government?
Yeah, it's actually what I want to suggest is the micro enterprises who are like the suggestion which I could give is the micro enterprises can get registered on Udyam portal as soon as possible so that they can get these customized credit cards because it's only for the people who have registered, right? So that's what I can suggest. Get registered soon.
Yeah, the link is in the description if you want to get registered in Udyam portal. The next sector that the government is focusing on is footwear and leather sectors because I was actually quite surprised to see government focusing on such small things. But when I digged into the numbers, that's when I came to know about the potential of this. So government is launching a focus product scheme, and this scheme aims to create 22 lakh percent jobs, and it's planning to get a turnover of 4 lakh crores to the government and exports worth 1.1 lakh crore. The numbers are quite shocking. Yeah, then let the next step, which is actually quite politically great move, is focusing on toys. I never thought toys could become such a great issue for Indian government because from 2018 India has taken steps to reduce the import of toys from China, but till now it's still 50% of the toys are being imported from China. But this time the government is not okay with it, so they are bringing up the national action plan for toys, which is kind of going to focus to promote the manufacturing of toys in India. What do you think, Kartigan?
Basically, the primary agenda behind the scheme is most of the toys which are being sold in India is made in China, right? So
Yeah.
to make it change into made in India, this is a quite significant and impressive move by Indian government. So that even the child product, even the products which are used by children are also made in India. And also the primary motto and the primary objective behind this is
The next thing is actually when I was reading this, I was also like it was good to see that government is actually doing what they promised because in 2024 interim budget, the finance minister told something about the Purvodaya scheme, and now it seems that they are doing steps to actually implement it. The basically the Purvodaya scheme aimed to improve the conditions of the eastern states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, and also an extra addition of Andhra Pradesh. So, in part of this scheme, the government has planned to set up National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship, and Management in Bihar, which will help the people around that to learn about food processing and help the factories of both food processing increase their production and quality. What do you think, Karthi?
uh, here it feels like do you know the concept? Like if there is a family, the youngest child will get the most uh, importance, right? The same thing I feel like for Bihar.
Yeah.
Like there is a huge number of measures which has been taken towards Bihar, which kind of makes other states quite jealous towards Bihar. That's what I would say.
Yeah, but it's the elder one's responsibility to take care of the younger ones when the younger one is suffering.
True, true. What else? What can we do? We just need to support. That's a
Yeah.
responsibility.
The next important, yeah, the next important thing the government is focusing in this union budget is Make in India, which they actually tried to focus in the previous budget too, but they haven't great significant moves. But this time they aren't ready for that. They are going to actually make it true. The mission of Make in India. The most important mission is to make sure that most of the manufacturing happens in India, and they have actually taken a few steps which is important for businesses. And details are mentioned in Annex City. Let me just tell you the key points. The key points include cheap and hassle-free business setup. The government will be reducing the regulations so that the business setting becomes easier. A skilled workforce for the future. So the government plans to make sure that the youth population is well skilled for to get into a good job, and they are also focused on creating the Make in India mission actually focuses on creating high quality Indian products. What do you think, Kati, about this Make in India mission?
Actually, Make in India mission has been started a long ago, and even though the level at which India is not very much significant, but the measures and moves which have been taken by the Indian government is quite appreciable, and we just need to see how this is going to unfold.
Yeah. And the next important thing the government is focusing on is the Mother Earth, because the government is focused on clean tech manufacturing. Basically, this scheme is focusing on the issues like climate change and global warming. So they are more tend towards moving into a climate friendly or environmental friendly growth. So the government has planned to improve production in building of ecosystem around solar PV cells, EV batteries, motors, controllers, electrolyzers, and turbines, which are basically things which will help us shift from traditional energy sources to cleaner energy sources. What do you think, Karthi?
Yeah, it's quite impressive to see the measure taken by the government for the movement towards more cleaner energy. Like it's a great move by the government for the transition towards the cleaner fuel. And also, I think you'll be discussing later about the transition ideology, basically. So we'll just wait for that.
Yeah, and that's it. The MSME sector has been done. The next thing we are going to start is actually a topic which interests me and Kati. It's about startups. The government has planned to add 10,000 crores to a which already has a total worth of 91,000 crores. So all put together, the government has put 1 lakh 1,000 crores into alternative investment funds, which are going to invest in startups so that the startup ecosystem in India grows. What do you think about this, Karthik?
That's actually a good move, but don't you think like uh, this amount is enough for Indian startups? Because basically startups have a higher burn rate and they need a huge amount with a demand of less equity, right? So what do you think about this amount? Um, is this amount enough, or should the government have invested more?
I have a very good answer for this because the Indians are smart enough to do anything at any budget. Don't you know about the Chandrayaan 2?
Yeah, DeepSeek is also there.
Yeah, but AI is a new thing. Let's wait for something from India. But Chandrayaan is more than enough to tell that Indians can do great things at this budget.
Yeah,
And
but
I also
what?
make sure that
Uh,
I also think that government will improve the funding onwards from now onwards to focus more on startups.
but one thing what I want to suggest is instead of focusing more on giving greater funds towards startup, they can give more greater importance towards improving the startup ecosystem in the country from the school itself, not just after the college degrees, but they can just have a the government can focus on building a good ecosystem at the school level itself, and they can include some form of curriculum with the existing curriculum so that at a younger age itself people can get a ideology about what does startups and how to, and people who are having some entrepreneurial spirit at a younger age, they can have a chance to expose it, right? That's right.
Yeah, it's actually a good session. And the next thing the government has focused is actually a good thing. scheme for first time entrepreneurs because the government wants to make sure that the people from lower economical or social background and women's take place in the entrepreneurship journey. So they have brought this scheme so that the people from SC, ST, and first time women entrepreneurs will get a term loan of up to 2 crores. What do you think about this, Karthik?
I think boys should also be given some importance, bro. I cannot see
But
gender
it's actually
equality.
it's
Where is
actually
gender
women
equality?
first.
Huh?
It's actually women first country, right? So we respect
But
women. So
still, some thing could be given for boys in like for 5 lakh women, at least 1 lakh men could have been focused.
okay, let's see. At least this could happen if men finance minister comes.
Through the
Yeah, let's wait for the condition. The next thing that the government has focused on is the extension of time limit for the section 80 IAC for startups. So you could be wondering what is section 80 IAC. It's just simple, it's just a complex word to tell that eligible startups can detect their profits up to 100% for 3 consecutive years without paying any taxes. It's actually a great step so that the startups in growth stage can grow and get better using their profits. I hope they will extend the time limit for this in the next budget. Let's wait
probably.
for it. The last and the most important thing the government has done for the startups is that they have increased the credit limit from 10 crores to 20 crores with the guarantee fee being moderated to 1%. It's actually a great thing for startups. But the small catch here is that this applies only for startups in 27 sectors, which is focusing on Atmanirbhar Bharat.
I think what you have told is completely fine about startups, and I hope we could expect something better in the next budget also. And as of now, it's a really good move taken by the Indian government.
Yeah.